I was alone. Chapter 1. The Last Voice. The static-filled voice on the radio was the last one I heard before the world went silent. Emergency broadcast. All citizens, seek shelter. Do not. Then, nothing. I sat in my dimly lit apartment, the radio clutched in my hands, willing it to crackle back to life. But the silence stretched, thick and suffocating. Outside, the streets were empty. No cars, no voices, not even the distant hum of electricity. Just an eerie stillness, as if the entire city had been abandoned overnight. I wasn't supposed to be here. I had stayed behind when the evacuation orders came, convinced it was just another false alarm. But now, as I peered through the blinds at the deserted streets, I realized I was alone. Chapter 2. The Empty City. The first few days were the hardest. I wandered through the empty streets, calling out, hoping someone, anyone, would answer. But my voice echoed back at me, mocking. Stores stood unlocked, their shelves half empty from the panic before the evacuation. Cars were left running, doors hanging open, as if their owners had simply vanished mid-step. I scavenged what I could. Canned food, bottled water, batteries. The power had flickered out on the second day, plunging the city into darkness. At night, I barricaded myself in my apartment, jumping at every creak and groan of the building settling. Was I the only one left? Had some disaster struck while I slept? A plague? An attack? The radio remained silent, and without the internet or TV, I had no answers. Chapter 3. The Signs of Life. A week in, I found the first sign that I wasn't completely alone. Scrawled in red paint on the side of a grocery store were the words, "Gone to the station. Follow if you see this." My heart pounded. Someone had been here. Maybe they were still nearby. I packed a bag and headed toward the train station, my hope growing with each step. But when I arrived, the place was empty. Abandoned luggage was strewn across the floor, and a single train sat motionless on the tracks, doors open. Then I saw the second message, spray-painted on the side of the train. They took the last train. If you're reading this, you're too late. Who were they, and where had they gone? Chapter 4. The Dark Truth. That night, I dreamed of voices whispering in the dark. You were left behind. I woke in a cold sweat. The air felt heavier, charged with something unnatural. And then I heard it. A sound I hadn't heard in days. A knock at my door. My breath caught. No one should be here. No one was here. I crept to the door, pressing my ear against it. Silence. Then another knock, softer this time. Hello? I called, my voice trembling. No answer. I unlocked the door and slowly pulled it open. The hallway was empty, but on the floor, just outside my door, lay a single sheet of paper. It read, "You're not alone, but you will wish you were." Chapter 5. The Hidden Watchers. After that, I started seeing them. Shadows moving just out of sight. Figures watching from darkened windows. Footsteps echoing when no one was there. I wasn't alone, but whatever was with me wasn't human. I stopped sleeping, stopped leaving my apartment. The city outside, once merely empty, now felt wrong. The air was too still, the silence too deliberate. Then, one evening, as I huddled by candlelight, I heard a voice, clear as day, whisper in my ear, "They didn't leave you behind. You were never meant to go with them." I spun around, but there was no one there. Chapter 6. The Choice. The next morning, I made a decision. I couldn't stay here. Whatever was in this city with me, it wasn't letting me go. I had to leave. I packed what little I had left and headed for the highway. If I walked far enough, maybe I'd find another town, another group of survivors. But as I reached the city limits, I saw it. A wall of fog, thick and impenetrable. stretching as far as I could see, and painted on a broken sign in front of it, "No exit." I stepped forward, my hand outstretched. The moment my fingers touched the fog, a jolt of pain shot through me, and I stumbled back. There was no way out. I was trapped. Chapter 7. The Final Revelation. That night the whispers returned. "You understand now, don't you?" I did. They hadn't evacuated. They hadn't left me behind. Something had taken them. And now it wanted me. The candle flickered, and in the dying light, I saw them. Figures standing in the corners of my apartment, their eyes glowing faintly in the dark. The last thing I heard before the darkness swallowed me whole was a voice, soft and sorrowful. "You were never alone." Oh wait, days later, the radio crackled to life in the empty apartment. Emergency broadcast, "All citizens, seek shelter, do not." Then silence again. And somewhere in the empty city, a new voice called out, desperate and afraid. "Is anyone there?" But this time, there was no one left to answer. Chapter 8. The Forgotten Journal. Days blurred together in a haze of fear and exhaustion. The whispers never stopped, but they had become background noise, a constant, unsettling hum beneath the silence of the city. Then I found the journal. It was tucked beneath the seat of an abandoned car near the train station, its leather cover worn and cracked. The first page was dated just before the evacuation. May 12th. They're saying it's another drill, but I don't believe it. The broadcasts keep cutting out. People are disappearing, not evacuating, vanishing. I saw it happen to Mrs. Kellerman across the street. 1 second she was locking her door, the next, gone, like something just plucked her out of existence. My hands shook as I flipped through the pages. May 14th. No one's left but me and a few others. We can hear them at night. Voices that aren't ours. They mimic us. Last night, I heard my own voice calling for help from outside. I didn't open the door. The last entry was smeared with something dark. May 17th. They're inside the walls now. I see their shadows when I close my eyes. They're not human. Maybe they never were. If anyone finds this, don't trust the silence. Don't trust the voices. And whatever you do, the rest was illegible. Chapter 9. The Broadcast. That night, the radio crackled again. But this time, it wasn't the emergency broadcast. A voice, human, but distorted, as if speaking through water, filled the static. If you can hear this, you're not alone. We're still here, trapped. They're keeping us in the dark. Follow the... A screech of feedback cut it off. Then a new voice, cold and hollow, whispered, "We see you." I threw the radio against the wall, shattering it into pieces. But the whispers didn't stop. Chapter 10. The Light in the Dark. Sleep was impossible. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them, tall, emaciated figures with elongated limbs and faces stretched too wide. They didn't move. They just watched. Then, on the 10th night, I saw the light. A single flickering street lamp in the distance, casting a dim glow over an alleyway. It was impossible. The power had been dead for weeks. Against my better judgment, I followed it. The alley led to a door, slightly ajar, with a symbol carved into the wood, an eye inside a triangle. Inside, the room was empty except for an old television set, its screen buzzing with static. Then an image appeared, a group of people huddled in what looked like a bunker. One of them stepped forward, pressing a hand against the screen. "You're not alone," they mouthed. The screen went black. Chapter 11. The Hunt. I wasn't the only one left. But whatever was in the city knew I had seen them. That night, the shadows moved with purpose. I could hear them scratching at the walls, breathing just outside my door. I ran, through empty streets, past hollow buildings, my breath ragged in my chest. Behind me, the whispers grew louder, more frantic. Stay, stay with us. I didn't look back. Chapter 12. The station again. I found myself back at the train station. The fog still loomed at the edge of the city, but now the abandoned train's engine was humming. The doors slid open with a hiss. A choice: stay and let the shadows take me, or board the train and pray it led somewhere, anywhere else. I stepped inside. The doors closed behind me, and as the train lurched forward, the whispers finally fell silent. Chapter 13. The Other Side. The train didn't stop for hours. When the doors opened again, I was met with blinding sunlight. A field stretched before me, green and alive, under a sky that wasn't choked with fog. But as I stepped out, I realized the field was empty. No birds, no insects, no wind, just silence. And in the distance, a single figure stood, watching, waiting. Epilogue: The Cycle. Days later, another city's lights flickered out. A radio crackled to life in an empty apartment. And somewhere, a new voice called into the dark. "Is anyone there?" But this time, I was the one who didn't answer.